Alright, it's Mr. Bush here, and we're going to go over basically how to solve today's homework. So if you look here, the first thing is you want to have your three formulas down. So the first formula is force is equal to mass multiplied by acceleration. Now that's going to be found on the back of your star chart, right about here. And we just use the letters because it's a lot easier to solve the problems with them. Alright, now there's two other versions you can have of this. You can have basically mass is equal to force divided by acceleration. Or you could have acceleration is equal to force divided by mass. So basically, whenever you're trying to solve one of your problems, you need to first look to see what it's asking. Like an example right here, on this one here, a number, let's say 9. It's asking for acceleration. So you would use the formula right over here for basically acceleration is equal to force divided by mass. Alright, let's go ahead and work out two of these together. So the first step is to write down your formula. Now in this first one, it's asking for mass. So you would write down mass is equal to force divided by acceleration. Now, in your problem, your acceleration was going to be 5, and your force is 60. So all you do is put those where they go. You have an acceleration of 5 divided by a force of 60. And as you divide out, that's going to equal 12 kilograms. So you just go ahead and write your answer. It's going to be 12 kilograms. And you're done. So the key thing is just to basically do exactly what your formula says. This formula basically said take your force and divide it by your acceleration. That gives you your mass. Alright, let's go ahead and do one with the acceleration. So if y'all look here, your formula is going to be acceleration is equal to force divided by mass. Now, if you look here, my mass is going to basically be 3 kilograms, so I put 3 here. My force is going to be 12, so I put 12 on the top. And when it divides out, you have 4 meters per second squared. Alright, and so your answer would be 4. Alright. Now, on this other side, you're going to be solving a couple of them that have force. If y'all look here, first off you write down your formula. So force is equal to mass multiplied by acceleration. Then you look through your problem. Your acceleration is going to be 9. So you put 9 underneath your acceleration. Your mass is going to be 4. You put 4 underneath your mass, and it says to multiply, so you multiply, giving you 36. So your answer would be 36 newtons. And that's basically all you need to do on that worksheet. Now let's go ahead and look at our worksheet that's a little bit more complicated. All right, go ahead and pause. Alright, basically these are going to be some star level questions. They're a little bit more difficult, so I figured I'd show you how to work a couple of them out. Now on this one, first thing you look at is what is the question asking? And it is asking for the acceleration of our basketball, my bad. Now, first off, you write down your formula, which would be basically, I'm going to write it over here on a blank piece of paper. That way, it's not very confusing. All right, so if you look here, our formula for acceleration is A is equal to force divided by mass. And then you just go through the problem and find your mass, which is going to be 0.6 kilograms, which I know a lot of y'all really don't like our decimals. That's okay. And we have a force of 10.8. So if y'all look here, go ahead and write your force is 10.8 and our mass is 0.6. Now, whenever you set these up, anytime you all have decimals, I want y'all to set them up in a box, as so. So you have 10.8 and you have 0.6. Now, here's a little trick. If you move this decimal place 1 here, you can move this one over here, and basically you make it a whole number. So we put our decimal up here, and we just basically work it out like any other division problem. 6 goes into 10 one time, and then 6, so you have 6 minus, giving us 4, and then our 8 comes down. Now 6 goes into 48, 8 times, and you get an answer of 18. Now if you look at our answer choices, 18's not on there, so your best answer choice is none of the following. Alright, let's go ahead and we're going to go ahead and skip down to number 3, because this is one that got a lot of people. If y'all look here, you're solving for basically how much force. So you're basically solving for force. So go ahead and set up your equation for force equals mass times acceleration. But your problem is, if you look here, the only thing you're given is the object's acceleration. You need to know its mass. But without the mass, you cannot solve for our force. So you have to have one more step in here. You're going to need to find the object's mass. And if you go through here, first step, if you look here, you have 6. So the reason why we're going back to these trials is that object is not going to lose mass the harder you push it. So it'll have the same mass on this particular trial. So basically we have 6 and our acceleration is going to be 1.2. And then anytime you have a decimal, remember, go to your box. So you have 6 divided by 1.2. And remember, if I move my decimal one place here, you can do the same here. And you basically get 60, and you put our decimal up here, and it makes this 12. Now 12 goes into 60 5 times. Alright, now that you know the mass, you simply write your mass up here, which is 5 kilograms. Our acceleration, if y'all look here, was 2.6. And to save time, I'm not going to work it out for you, but basically 5 times 2.6 equals 13. So you go down there, and 13 is one of our answers. Now remember, if you don't find a correct answer on a test, the main thing you need to do is go back and reread the question, because that means you messed up. Alright, our last one we're going to do today is we're going to solve number 5 here. If y'all look here, basically what got a lot of people is they didn't know how to find our net force. So if you look here, if you have 84 pushing backwards and 150 pushing forward, you have to subtract the air resistance from the guy on the bike. So what you do is you take your 150, subtract the 84 from it, 4, 6, So what you get is basically a total force of 66 newtons. Then you can go back and use that divided by his mass, and that will give you the acceleration. So hopefully this is helpful. A big thank you to Julio who helped me film this, and y'all have a great day.